You've always pushed boundaries.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's probably why I was always in a lot of trouble growing up. Pushing way too many boundaries.
And the reason I say that, which I find it fascinating, is me being from Jersey, my parents always knew. I was like, look, if I go to a college in Jersey, it's just going to be Rutgers. That's it. Now, at that time, it was coming off the heels of Ray Rice playing at Rutgers, and he was a legend. This is before the allegations, and he beat that woman in the elevators. That's more than allegations, since we all saw the video and stuff. But he was a beast in college, and also not a woman beater.
I was like, and a beast in the elevator.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, I want to follow that up. I want to be a legend there. And they're like, we don't want you. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to DC. It's very simple. And my parents always asked, why DC? And I was like, there's a city. If the sport that I choose, that I'm passionate about, doesn't welcome me or I don't fit, there's a whole community that I can get to know and see, hey, what can I do there if this doesn't work out? Yeah.
I think that's also part of the reason why I ran from New York, because I was like, New York is the world of so many opportunities that I feel like I'll get swallowed up if I try my hand too early. So leaving and going to another city that's also predominantly black too, because I was like, ooh, I need diversity. Don't send me to West Bump. I can't do it. I can't excel there. I don't like it. I went upstate and I was like, how many black people are here? I'm not coming here. Parents, I'm not coming here. I don't feel safe. I already don't feel safe.
Yeah.
So going to Philly, and Philly being a creative, quirky, artistic city really helped me grow as a creative. Like, that was my first hand at being a creative. I had a blog. I was meeting people.
All right, you gotta slow this down. Tell me about the blog.
It was cute.
What's it called?
Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Wow, you're on brand.
I've been on brand since apparently sophomore year of college.
You're on brand because Cat Daddy.
Cat Daddy and Russia Barbie.
Yeah.
And then my Twitter name is Monster Barbie. So welcome to the Dollhouse.
Okay, yeah, that's, wow. Okay, so it was a whole set.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually smart. I don't know why you were embarrassed to say that. That whole thing makes sense.
It makes sense, but it's like,
do you look at the writing sometimes and think, damn, what was I thinking?
I try not to look back at something. Sometimes the first ever blog I had, I was like, oh, this was bad. Just bad. You just tried. Once I started again, I don't know why, this is the first time I'm actually thinking back to that blog. It was my first time connecting with fashion brands, like small fashion brands, because that was my first goal in life. I thought I was going to have a publication.
Give me an example of a small fashion brand you connected with.
I don't remember their name specifically, but there was one that was based in Philly, and they gave me some of their clothing to like do my own photo shoots with. There was one girl who, and I actually thought about this piece the other day, and I really wish I can find it. She hand painted wooden guns and had them cross like this, and that was like her necklace. And I thought it was the most fire necklace ever. And I think and I watched her for like a few years. So when I finally started this blog, I reached out to her and asked if she still had it. She saw what my blog was and said, I can make one for you if you write about it. And I was like, a gift? Yes, I will do it. So when I look back at that and the way that I was telling people's stories, I'm still doing the same thing, just in a different magnitude. I'm telling people's stories about their individual self and less about their specific brand. A lot of people do that. They tell their brand stories. I want to tell your story. I want to get people to connect with people, understand people, and start seeing people as people first, instead of, this is me, the content curator, and I'm awesome. It's, this is me, the creative, and I've gone through life, and this is what life looks like to me, and this is why I moved this way, and this is why I thought about this project, and this is why Black Men Cry 2 is imperative to me. This is how I connect with the brand as a Black woman. I need you to understand that, so you understand what you're buying into. You're buying into the platform, the stories, the people, not just this one sector of them.
So, are you aware?
I feel like I long-winded answered that.
No, that was actually really great. I study interviews, and your interview reminded me of one of my favorite interviews that I watch for fun on Complex Blueprint. I'll send you the link one day. So, branding and brands. How many brands have you worked with?
For Black Men Cry 2 or just in general?
No, in general. You've worked with a lot of brands. You've handled a lot of other people's things and they were like, nah, just keep it. Yeah, you have. I can see it. I'm like, no, you have. Pick a number. You gotta say, where's the number point? Just any number.
I don't know if I've ever thought about a number or the idea.
Have you ever thought about that ability that you have?
Recently.
Okay.
And I think that's what's helping me define what is it that I want to do that isn't corporate. Mm-hmm. I love working with brands. Mm-hmm. I love working with people and brands. Like
bigger brands, smaller brands, or as long as it's a business that's ran correctly?
Ooh. That's imperative.
Yeah.
Ran correctly with the core value. Mm-hmm. What's your core value? So the brand that I said that I was okay separating ties with when it came to Black Men Cry 2, the reason why, and this is when every time I say it to people, they're still like, and I'm like, no, it's not it's to you because you're seeing dollar signs. It's not to me. It makes me feel like it. Black History Month was approaching.
Yeah.
I asked them, what are you doing for, and I knew something told me they weren't. What are you doing for Black History Month?
Yeah.
Acknowledging it.
That was the answer.
That doesn't sit well with me at all.
That was the answer.
That was the answer.
That was the hardest answer.
That's in my phone.
I don't want to see that.
As an email response with a smiley face.
I don't want to see that.
It was a smiley face that got me. I was like, oh, this is passive aggressiveness on text.
Yeah.
Cool.
And email, which all emails are contracts technically, so.
Screenshot.
Yeah.
I will save this forever. So I said, okay. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to watch. So I looked on their Instagram during all of February. Nothing was ever acknowledged. But what you did do for Valentine's Day was a campaign with a black man and a white woman. Yuck. I felt like yuck.
Yeah.
The first name of my brand is Black.
Yeah. I just had this conversation with someone. Actually.
The second is men. Black men.
Side note. I had to explain the concept of friends with benefits to someone. And I said, as a man, when women get pissed at you and all you're doing is talking about sex, when they offer the friends with benefits, take a step back and look at the word. What word comes first? If that word is not being fulfilled in terms of friends with benefits, you're not a friend with benefits. So when they cut you off, when they catch an attitude, when they don't fuck with you anymore, it's because you stopped becoming a friend and you were just a nigga that was fucking, which is not a benefit because you don't care about them or who they are or what they're going through, which means you're no longer a friend with benefit just by how you function. It's in the words.
It's the reason why a friend of mine, Boundaries, is no longer a friend of mine this year as well.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but like someone has to say it. Unfortunately, it's me.
It's not unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate for you because you feel like you have to be the one to say it, but it needs to be heard.
It's unfortunate because I have no issue with making people uncomfortable. Yeah, and then after that, it's like, all right, let's go eat this panini sandwich.
And they're looking at you still very uncomfortable and feeling raw, and I'm sitting there like, this is a good ass sandwich. One bite? No? You don't like it?
Yeah, but if you decide not to digest, that also has nothing to do with it. Because
if you constipated, that's your problem.
Information is important, but how you digest and dissect that information is just as important.
How you process.
A lot of people, it's like, oh, well, I learned this. And it's like, oh, no, you learned it in a book. Did you apply it anywhere? Did you experience it? Did you talk to other people who experienced it? So they could like fill you in and that could actually paint the whole picture, not just the I had this in front of me a couple of times. It's like, nah, it's not that simple. I had that moment with my dad, but we'll talk about that some other time. So, Black Men Cry 2. In your life, that holds a lot of weight. Tell me about that weight.
I hate starting sentences with As soon as I said it, I was like, ew. Professional Communications 101.
Suggestions. Usually for good
stop and pause.
Stop and pause, or you can hit it with the I just used right there. What are sentences that you would usually use to pivot in emails? That's how I think of with that being said, that's always a good one. Because with that being said, it could go positive or negative.
That is true.
But it's space for it. With that being said, I'm glad everyone's doing well. Or with that being said, we're still going to have to fire you, but it's been great.
Oh. Hear what you're saying. However, you still got to go.
Yeah.
It holds weight to me because it's very personal to me. Mm-hmm. It's very personal to me, and I always preached about the 3 aspects, but it's essentially 4.
Okay, tell me about these 4 aspects.
They're all experiences. They're all heavy experiences. Mm-hmm. The first experience I ever had with men of color and their mental health was being a freshman in high school and losing a best friend to suicide. That has played a significant part of who I am today, of my life. I also have a tattoo for him. And the reason why it holds so much weight for me is we were on the phone the night that he took his own life. And he had called prior to that moment. And the reason why he called and the voicemail that was left was to, share how much he loves and values me as a friend. So for me, after that happened at such a young age, you could have been able to call me at any time of night and I would have answered since then. My phone was on loud. I just recently broke that habit of, you actually do need to rest. That small piece of guilt, it wasn't small. That piece of guilt you feel for missing that phone call was something I had to work through. That being that first experience and the way that I value friendships and move with friendships has also changed and altered and been so heavy for me since that moment. That was my first. My second was ending up in a relationship where we both became mutually abusive towards each other due to us not being aware of the fact that we're operating in depression. We're both depressed. This is what depression looks like at this age. Mm-hmm. We don't know that. Ain't nobody told us that.
Yeah.
Depression was a white people thing. What we got to be depressed about? We blessed and highly favored, okay? Mm-hmm. And not only were we depressed, we were abusing substances together.
Yeah.
So now our minds are messed up and we're altering it and we're just all screwed up.
You guys were both in the fog. Yeah.
And it just seemed very passionate and it was detrimental. And I, as a woman of color, also potentially, in my head, affected negatively a black man who has substance, has a good black man. And I couldn't sit well with myself thinking that I did that to someone.
Yeah.
So being able to, for years, try to ignore it and then finally sit with it this year, face to face, and have that conversation, lifted weight off of my heart, because regardless, we both played such a heavy part. I still needed to sit across from the person and accept my part and hold my part accountable and apologize for it and explain it. I needed to stop living like a hypocrite in that moment. So having that conversation, this is why this project, this business, this brand is so important to me, because I can't live like a hypocrite. It's made me change that. So for me to sit across or have conversations or be present or try to give people different mindsets, I'm not coming from holier than thou. I'm coming from, wow, I'm you, you're me. We're each other. But there's another, you can go down another path. You can pick another lane, and that lane is lighter. The third experience, and that's the one that actually pushed me to produce the web series, the platform, the brand, I ended up in a situationship, as many of us do, and with a hood guy. I don't like to use that terminology, so I like to call him stoic. To see someone be so feared and respected in their neighborhood, and then have them come to you and see you as a safe space. I've seen that man break down more times I haven't broken down in front of him, and it's not like a pride thing. It's just the opportunity and the space that was provided for him. You feel so comfortable and secure to do that here. Here's your safe space. However, I was used and abused for being the safe space and went through my own shit. But if I can connect with someone that we technically come from two different worlds, there's a gift there. And in recognizing that gift, the male friends in my life felt very comfortable. And I've noticed that for a long time, for my entire life, how easy it is for me to connect with men. But where does that come from? Oh, that comes from you having that close relationship with your father. When you were young, your father was out on disability, so he was there in those young, impressionable years. So you know what it's like to connect with a man. Then it's your mother doesn't expose vulnerability because she's a Caribbean woman. Because she's a Caribbean woman who had to fend for herself and make these opportunities for herself and find and develop and create her American dream. So because of that, you weren't granted a lot of vulnerability. So you know what it's like to put on a hard face. You know what it's like to hide parts of yourself and react off of pain and hurt because you're not acknowledging or accepting that this is pain and hurt. So now I get how you guys are moving. I get how you're thinking. I get the pressure that you're feeling. So how can I continue to create these safe spaces and expose these safe spaces to get you to release it? To get you to finally talk about this imperative part of your life that has never been spoken about in this magnitude. How can I give you the opportunity to tell your story instead of white America telling your story and spinning it for the way they want to portray it? No, let's get to the real. And it's important because that's me. You can see me outwardly. You don't know what's going on internally. And especially when I think about like this year and losing my mother, you can see me right now, I'm smiling and I'm outside. And my energy can be up and I can be having a good day, but inside I'm feeling very ripped apart. Every good day is still bittersweet to me because I can have a good day and be like, wow, this person said this about me. I got to kick it with this person. We had this dope experience. Let me go call. I can't call my mom. So let me sit with that feeling. And that feeling hurts. But I can't share or show that hurt, or you're not thinking that I'm moving in that way because you see me out smiling. Yeah, I can't go to you with that baggage. You don't make it safe. You don't hold it with grace. So this project, this platform, it's me helping others get to like what I had to learn and grow through, and I need to find my voice. I found my voice and I want to use my voice to help others share their story. Understand your story, say your story, own your story, and how can we change your story? Your story shouldn't define you. You have an opportunity to make it every vision that you see. As a man. Yeah. And here I am as a woman showing I'm on your side. Platonically, I got your back. Yeah. You have support. You have someone in me, in this brand, in this platform. And that's why I did it as a video series. I want you to see I can sit across from a man and have these hard taboo conversations and make it feel like we're just talking over steak and eggs. We can laugh in having hard conversations, which I think people have this weird thing like, oh, it's so awkward, it's intense. It may be awkward because it's like, woo, I didn't expect that. Well, wow, that's some heavy shit. But like, I can still make a joke.
It's still real life.
It's how we cope. It's how Black people cope. We make jokes about everything. So why can't we have serious conversations and still make it feel light? It's heavy, but I try to make it look light because in that time frame, it is light. We're just talking. We're just talking. I'm listening. I'm letting them be seen. I'm letting them be heard. And a lot of times it opens the door for them to further that conversation. And I'm blessed to be a part of so many journeys because so many people have played a part in my journey. So it's pay back, pay it forward.
Okay, I have a question for you. Wow, thank God I locked my key today.
It's like, woo, hold it in.
I was gonna say emotion-wise, I was like, woo.
I mean, yesterday I cried enough. I was like, oh, it's all out. It won't be here.
So, how do you A, how do you create space for yourself when that time comes? That's number one. And number two, who in your life creates space for you?
The two kind of sometimes blend. My family creates space for me. I may be the most emotionally intelligent in my family because of the shift of the generations. It's not like an insult to their intelligence, but to be a person who is outwardly speaking and doing, they still guide and allow me to teach. So that's dope to see. In losing my mom, I tell people, if I lost her any sooner, this would be a complete different experience. Last year, me and her had a therapy session together. If anybody has known or met my mom, the idea of my mom agreeing and sitting down with a therapist on more than one occasion.
That's major. Yeah.
And in that session, the way that there's like something I said that I never thought about, that I didn't realize was part of a conflict in our relationship, that moment and seeing the way her reaction and response was held so much weight. Like, now we're getting through. It will still have some bumps, but our bumps will be a bit smoother now because now we're hearing. We're there now. So the spaces for myself is my own therapy session. I have a really strong relationship with my therapist. A lot of myself has changed from taking that leap of faith and going into therapy. Those other spaces I'm learning is like the me time and not avoiding it and sitting with self. If it means I'm smoking weed, I'm smoking weed. That's what I like to do to unwind. It is what it is. I'm not ashamed. It helps. I don't abuse it. Moderation, yes. Yeah. Moderation and responsibility. It's working out. It's going for walks. It's being with certain people and disconnecting. It's having those engaging conversations where you don't feel like an outsider or a loner in this world. It's getting lost in content that inspires you. I can get lost in like a docu-series or a really good scripted show, and it's just my escape or my use for inspiration to keep me stimulated but not overly stimulated where I feel like I'm going to explode. And the people that make spaces for me this year more than ever is what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for and how I'm reevaluating the clutter in my life. Like, whoop, you gotta go. I can bring you in. But even though you're in, you're not here, you're here. Like, there can be levels to it. My therapist calls it my starting 5, even though it's like more than 5 people. But I know with these, let's say 10, 15 people, I know what to get. I know the experience or the environment, and I have trust in them. Everyone else would be like, I can schedule time with you on this day, on this month. You don't need to constantly be this close. And it's because of the people just moving with the idea of consideration, grace, temperament, the check-in. Like, I don't want people to feel like they have to walk on eggshells or be weird. Just be human, and as a human, remember the human that you're speaking to. Remember what that human is going through. For a real, like, quick example, yesterday we were having a very heated conversation and it was triggering for someone. And they sent me a text, even though we were in a group setting, and they said, hey, this conversation is getting a bit triggering. Do you mind changing the subject? So I read the text. Instead of making it hot, quick shift, quick turn. Yeah. Because that's your safe space for me, so I want to ensure I can create that safe space for you. And that's the same thing if I'm out with someone and I feel like, okay, I'm not feeling comfortable anymore. I need you to either identify it before I say anything, or if I say something to you on the side, be able to protect my mental state, my emotions, my feelings, me as a person. So it's those that have the protection, and I'm paying more mind to that these days to decide who gets this energy, who gets me to this magnitude, or what level of me will I only allow you to have. I was like, I hope I answered the question.
Has anybody ever had this conversation with you before?
Not to this magnitude. I think typically just my therapist, because that's the person that I run to when shit hits the fan, shit went left, I had to separate from this person. It's the, okay, are we still evaluating? Are we still reflecting? Are we still... It's getting to the point where when I'm stepping away from people, I'm not coming to her like, I can't believe. I'm like, oh, this person had to go. Nope, don't feel safe, don't feel protected, don't feel respected. This is what I said. I might have used some harsh words. It is what it is. The message needs to be heard. And now they're gone and I'm good.
Okay, before we wrap this up, what would you like all men to know about you if they decide to reach out?
Great question. Unfortunately, I have like a funny but real, honest. Please don't reach out to me if you're interested in me with no corny-ish. I'm sorry. I'm tapped, I'm spent. Some of y'all are real corny.
You exhausted? Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't have...
It's manipulative.
I don't have the grace to take it on the chin anymore. I'm not going to be cutesy about it. I understand male-dominated industries, navigating around it. I'm no longer navigating around it. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to shut it down. If I need to expose you for you to get it, like, just know that I have the capability to expose. I'm not above it. I'm healing. I'm not healed. I'm not a perfect person. I may expose some bullshit that she sent me in my stories so more people can be like, oh, I used that line on a girl before. Let me not do that in case she... Yes. Yeah. I'm going to do that to change... hopefully to change, or at least spark conversations to change behaviors that are just not okay. If you're interested in working and are serious and genuine, please don't reach out for opportunity. This is serious work that I care about. It's sometimes people just want to reach out and be like, hey, can you interview me about this? Yes, I have a web series. I had a woman reach out to me and ask if I would interview her about her comedy journey.
The platform is built for men to be the visitors on your show.
Then I don't talk about no one's business. It'll come in. Yeah, if their business ties into what we're talking about or what the purpose of the brand is. So please do your homework.
Did you want to make a separate platform for those kind of folks? Because that's where I'm at now on things. But it's because I'm in a weird space. We'll get to that one later. we'll talk about that after this.
If in my personal brand to help any other people's brands, sure. Don't come to this brand for that. Know what brand or what you're looking for when you come here. I've had a guy hit me up from Atlanta asking if I was still managing other artists and would I manage a rapper. Cool, you came to my personal page to ask me that because you see personally I do that with someone else. Perfect, you got it. Don't come to that because there's two separate accounts. Don't come to that there with that. And don't move in a sense of, even though it's split, because it is split identities, it's still me behind it. There's no machine, there's no intern.
It's just you.
It's me. I am the brand is me. I don't face forward with the brand. I don't want the brand to make it seem like I'm the brand for that. Like, no, every guest that comes on is the brand. Like, that's the face of the brand. The people I interview, they're the face of the brand. The culture, the community, they're the face of the brand. I'm just facilitating the conversation. But still remember, it is just me. And I'm still a human. And as a human, I may step away, I may take breaks, I may do these things because it's not an oil flag like business. It's me. So I had someone reach out asking, hey, I'm coming to New York, MLK weekend. Will you be recording then? I already have you on the list. And I'm a woman of my word. So if I don't get back to you in a time frame, or if you're just anxious about it, I am a woman of my word. I will get back to you. It will get done. You have to sort of take a step back and just let it go on my process for my brand, because I have plans for my brand and I don't like outside people trying to maneuver it on their time frame or for their personal gain.
And that's not fair to you.
Not fair to me and not the purpose of this brand.
Yeah.
It's delicate conversations I want to have, and I like to curate the conversation and think about, well, what can be the takeaway? What do I want to be the main goal and topic? I'm very honored to see people be excited and anxious to want to get on the brand. I'm understanding that as a blessing. but just want people to understand, like, as excited as you are, how does this come across, and respect the process that I do for this. This isn't a weekly podcast. We're not just kikiing. This is heavy-ish that I'd like to talk about. And in order to talk about it, I gotta be good.
Yeah.
And I gotta do it on my time. And if I'm not good, I'm not gonna do it on your time. It's my brand. You're coming over here to come on my brand. You will have to move on my time. It is what it is. If you don't like it, you don't have to come here. Yeah. There's another brand you could talk to.
Bunch of brands.
And I'm fine with that.
It's a big city.
It's a big city. It's a big world. Big country. If you gotta go elsewhere, I'm not gonna cry about it. I won't feel insulted. You gotta do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing what's best for me.
Yeah, and that's important. Okay, so where can the people find you?
You can find me on the InstaWebs. You can find the brand at Black Men Cry 2, and that's 2 O, so TOO. You can find me at RetroBarbie92. I don't like to give out my Twitter.
You're good. You mentioned it lightly. You could just skip over that.
Yeah, if you find me, you find me. If you don't look for me.
If they paid attention, they got it. Yeah.
Right. And if you want to work personally, Retro Barbie. If you want to build with the brand, Black Men Cry 2. Just remember the association.
And both of them have a separate cost.
Both of them have a separate cost, and the price. Yesterday's price?
It's not today's price.
Not today's price. So don't be mad at the price, because everything has a price now.
Yeah. I feel like we watch the same YouTube shows.
Pretty much.
I have a feeling that we watch the same YouTube shows.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, even this one. This one stays with me too. This is soundbite I will keep.
Alright, well, I appreciate you coming through. I hope you enjoy the goodie bag. You want to show them the bag?
I do.
Yeah, it's a little bag. You know, a little
first, you have to
tote
do the
bag.
you gotta show the toe.
Yeah. Let me put the camera towards you so you can know what you look. There you go. That's you. See, the coloring is great.
Oh my gosh, I love the
Yeah, I told you. I was like, no, you was killing
like
it.
the pink is over here.
Yeah, I got to watch this for like an hour and some change. I was like, this is great.
We'll do it still, like. And because I'm cool or whatever. Little exclusive pieces, which I love because I wasn't a hugger. My mom was a hugger, and now I'm like hugging everybody. I'm like, oh my god, hug me, make me feel loved. And since I'm a vibrant thing,
you are a very vibrant person.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Which is what you'll hear me say if you come visit me at the bar nowadays. Get home safe.
Did you want to say the name of the bar? Do we keep that to ourselves?
We do, so I don't know if that's changing.
Okay.
If you in New York and you want to drink with me, hit me up or watch my stories. I'll post where I'm bartending and when. Weekly.
Bet.
It's always a good time. That's always
Did you want to shout out Queens before we wrap this up?
Queens get the money. I mean, what is there more to say? If I was wearing shorts, I would show the tattoo. Queens get the money. It's the ghettoest tattoo I have that I love with all of my heart. Okay? A Queens girl, no matter where I live. If you catch me in a different borough, mind your business. I'm still a Queens girl. I grew up with grass in the front and the back of my house, and I still know how to scrap. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for letting us know about how you build it. That was so important.